Hello YouTube people! Welcome to another tutorial. As you could tell by what is in the title, we are going to be writing in Phyrexian. Writing in Phyrexian is something that I took a stab at, worked out, and every once in a while I get a nice request to make some Phyrexian lettering for people, which is real fun. I really like doing Phyrexian, and I mean, it looks fucking cool as shit. Right now, I painted this wonderful dark ritual. Did it twice. Whenever you get a, whenever you're doing like a playset or something of altars, I do them all together. Keeps everything really consistent. Gets them done really fast. I mean, once you pour your colors, you only kind of have to do it once. You can kind of go around the painting and do a couple layers and passes on the whole painting like once. You know what I mean? You do like green on this side, green on that side, white on this side, white on that side, gray on that side, gray on that side, and you can just get them done really fast. So this order, just from someone from Norway, wanted one regular dark ritual, which is completed, and then one Phyrexian dark ritual, which obviously is not completed. So we're going to draw Phyrexian. The color I'm using, you see my palette. This is the palette that got used to make, oh, let's show it off a little bit better. This is the palette that got used to make this dark ritual. If you look deeply, you can see all the colors and all the combos here. There is one color that I used for like the darkest black. I didn't use a black, I used like a, it is a mostly black, a little bit of dark brown, a little bit of gray combo. And that's how I made most of the dark pieces in this. So using my wet palette, I'm gonna get this, what is this, a 000? Oh geez, I like rubbed off the amount on this. It might be a 000, it might be a 00 that I cut down. I definitely cut it down a little bit. So how you make Phyrexian is you draw a slash. Draw yourself a horizontal slash wherever you're gonna make it. That's a good looking slash. I tell you, I made some fucking slashes in my day that don't look anywhere near as good as that. So Phyrexian is not made up. Phyrexian does have a couple tutorials around the web where you can learn to write Phyrexian. But there are guiding principles to how to write Phyrexian, which we will talk about now. The main point of Phyrexian is to have this large slash and then have many, many slashes, much like a kanji, used on this slash. Now, how you make these letters, there is a there's an alphabet on the internet that you can look up and try to figure out what each thing means. But if you've ever learned another language, it's not one-to-one on English. So whatever the English A is will not be the Russian A. You know, it won't be the Chinese A. And it won't mean the same things. The only other language I ever studied was Hebrew, and this is very similar, in my opinion, to Hebrew. So I'm kind of using a little bit of my ideas of how cool you can make another language look when you make it look like slashes. You make it look as ancient and as serious as possible. I mean, these are some brutal, brutal motherfuckers. So try to make your Phyrexian look like someone scratched it with their fucking Elish Norn finger. I'm swearing a lot, aren't I? Alright, let's get a little bit more on the palette. I got this really, really zoomed in so you can see all the small work I'm doing. A little arrow up here, I think that'll look cool. Just a little bit. If you're, I'm trying to be as dainty as possible with this. If you need to take your brush completely, which I'm going to do, completely soak it in water, drag it around, start from fresh, make sure to really, really get it nice and dry, and then stick it back in your black, gray, brown. That'll give you a very, very controlled feeling. So Phyrexian, I'm making all this up. This is not really saying add triple black mana to your mana pool. I don't think that anyone expects the level of research to go into making that happen. And, I mean, to be completely frank, I don't know if it's easy to learn the language of Phyrexia and make it make sense. And who the fuck would call me out? You know, you gotta think about that as well. Who would call me out? Nobody. Alright. So let's throw that in there. That looks super cool. I think that looks real cool. And I'm sure it says everything that we think it says. So now I'm gonna make I need to find like a pure white. I have like only like a mint white at the moment. So I'm gonna pour some brand new white. Where's my white? Pour just a tiny bit of brand new white. I'm going to mix in a tiny bit of gray just to dull it, because in Magic cards, I say this all the time, Magic cards are never pure black, Magic cards are never pure white, because they print the things. The whitest white you'll ever see is not a pure white. You know what I mean? It's like it's a rosetta of a lot of colors. And also, the pure black you're going to get out of a tube is going to be way more black than anything that is painted and dried and, you know, mass-produced and stuff like that. So, I'm going to get just a little bit of it on my brush, and we're just going to write some more. Now, what I like about Phyrexian, again, what I like about the languages that I normally see written out that I respect and that I look for, like Hebrew or Japanese or something, is that it has a very, very handwritten feel, which is, you know, I really like that look. I like when things look authentic, like an artisan actually took their time and wanted to make this look cool, but it's not computer based. You know what I mean? Not to talk shit about the great and glorious computers, but I really like the handwritten style, and I think if anyone's buying art, they kind of also want a handwritten looking thing. So you can get chunky on some parts, but for the most part, Phyrexian language should be nice and thin. So if you're getting a little too chunky, put a couple like thin pieces in between the chunky, so it looks like you did it on purpose. You did the chunk on purpose. You know what I mean? Okay, done that. All right, let me follow a little bit of a guide and pick actual Phyrexian letters, because I'm kind of just making slashes. For the most part, it's these like vertical lines, and then these like, they're all slashes in some way, going diagonal or vertical. I mean, obviously you can put a couple L's in there, which we'll finish this off with a nice big L. I think that would look cool. But it's a lot of vertical lines. They definitely follow a rule. You know, you can't have a language without rules. So try to pick, you know, an idea, a writing style, and bring that out in your Phyrexian. So I'm doing a lot of verticals that kind of like don't go past the slash. And then I'm doing a lot of those little like quotation marks. Let's put one big one on the bottom. Those like quotation marks are really cool. The main one that people see is like the vertical or the diagonal slash through the line. You can do little crowns, which again is very Hebrew. What else? Oh yeah, you could do like an X. That looks super cool. Different wavelengths. Put a couple verticals in there. Again, if you're getting too chunky, don't put as much pressure on. Or, like I'm going to do, go and get your brush completely cleaned off, dip it back in. You should be using a wet palette, so you should have perfectly wet, easy to work with paints. I don't see a lot of circles in Phyrexian, so try not to do circles. Other than that, I think that's the way Phyrexian looks. Again, there are things you can look up online that'll tell you exactly what you did or didn't do. That they have a language, so they have something that you can refer to. They already have symbols that you can go with. However, it kind of could be, you know, I mean, obviously it's a fantasy language, so I'm not saying anything wrong. There could be symbols that we can make that don't have to be in their language. You know, I mean, that does sound like a typical, you know, American privilege, like, oh, whatever, foreign language, I'll do whatever I want. But, I mean, out of all the foreign languages to fuck around with, the Phyrexians actually don't have a people to yell at you for. So, go forth, make your Phyrexian language stuff awesome. Try to stick with as many lines of text that are actually on the card. So for me, there's 2 lines of text here, 1 line, 1 line, 1 line, and that's what I stuck with. Please, subscribe, thumbs up, do all the things that make me want to keep making videos if you've made it to the end of this video. Thank you very, very, very much for watching. I'm trying to make my YouTube channel a little bit more robust, more into the Magic the Gathering parts that we all love, including playing, talking about, you know, obviously talking about altered art, but talking about playing the game and how to collect, what I do. I mean, I think I have a pretty sweet collection, so showing off that collection, all those things. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.